Thank you. Thank you. Let me again welcome you to Maths on African Motives. We are still on business studies, grade 10, term 3 notes, and the presentation of business information. So, in this presentation, we're going to talk about the guidelines on preparing support materials for presentation. Also, we are going to talk about the types of visual aids. So these are what we are going to be looking at in this presentation. So without wasting much time, let's go straight to the guidelines on preparing support materials for a presentation. So that is that. So here we are on guidelines on how to prepare or support materials for presentation. So, as it says, most visual aids require similar quality to make them effective. So they should use large, clear lettering that is easy to read from appropriate distance. So, meaning to say the text should be big and clear. That's what this point means. Text should be big and clear. Text should be big and clear so that everyone can read it, if even from the back of the room. So that is that. Then it later on says never have too much writing on them. Never have too much writing on. Avoid overcrowding the slide with text. So that is that. Avoid overcrowding. Avoid uh, avoid overcrowding the slide with text. Avoid overcrowding the slide with text. Include only the main points. For example, use bullet points instead of long paragraphs. So that is that. Provide visual presentation of statistics in the form of graphs or charts. So use graphs or charts to make numbers and data easier to understand. For example, we can use bullet points. We can use bar graphs, bar graph to show monthly sales figures. That is what it means. Contain summaries of what the presenter wants to convey and not the whole text. So that is that. Whereby we are saying make sure contain summaries of what the presenter wants to convey and not the whole text. Meaning to say, presenter, meaning to say, include only key ideas, includes only key ideas, because the presenter will explain the details verbally. So here we are saying only include only key ideas. Include only key ideas. Include only key ideas. That is that. Only include key ideas. Because the presenter will explain in detail verbally. So that is where we can say is, let's say slide says advantages, higher profits, increased sales. That's what you can say. On a slide, you can see advantages. Then you just write under advantages, higher profits, increased sales. So the presenter will explain in detail about the increased sales, higher profits. So that's why we're saying include only key ideas. Be colorful and grab attention. Be colorful and grab attention. Use suitable um, use suitable colors. Use suitable colors to make the presentation attractive and keep the audience interested. Be meaningful and appropriate. Be meaningful and appropriate means the support material should relate to the topic. Support material should relate to the topic. Support material uh, should relate to the topic. Should relate to, to the topic. And help the audience understand the presentation. So that is that. So now let us come to the types of visual aids. So types of visual aids, you're going to have data, projector, handouts, interactive whiteboard and smartboard, video conferencing and equipment, flyers and broadcasts, posters, science banners or flex, overhead projector, charts, flip charts, whiteboards, graphs, and diagrams. So these are visual aids that we are going to explain. So here we are going to have the explanation of visual aids. Like we've talked about the projector, data projector. As it says, data projector usually is used for large groups. So meaning to say is suitable for presentations with many people because everyone can see the screen. That is that. For example, or a manager presents the annual report to all employees. So that is that. Also project the image from the computer to screen. So it projects image from computer to screen, meaning to say it displays information from computer onto a large screen. That is that. It shows summaries, graphs, relationships, diagrams, or processes and process steps and etc. So, meaning to say it makes information easier to understand by displaying what visuals. That's what this point means. Also, it can be used to create a mood through showing images and videos. So many to say pictures and videos make presentation more interesting and engaging. So that is that, for example, a promotional video is shown during product launch. That is that. Slide summarizes information to increase understanding. So slides highlight the main points instead of all the details. So that is that. So now let us come to the handouts. Let us be on handouts. Let us be on handouts. So handouts is used for small and large group. Can use for both small and large group. So handouts are useful regardless of audience size. So that is that. So printed, for example, printed notes are given to 20 or 200 people. So that's why I say they can be used regardless of the size of the audience. And handouts are used to give summary of presentation and provides follow-up activity. So meaning to say they remind the audience of the main points and may include exercises. That is why we're saying they are used to give summary of presentation and provides follow-up activities. Also, the handouts contain summary of the most important points. So summary contains summary contain a summary of the most important points. So it means only key information is included. They are given to audience when they leave after the presentation. So it means as we are talking about that they are given to audience after the presentation, it means that they help audience remember the presentation later. They provide detail that cannot be included in the presentation, such as financial statement. So here it means we are talking about extra information is supplied. Extra information is supplied without overcrowding the slides. They provide structure and focus for the presentation. So meaning to say they help the audience follow the presentation in order. That is that. So now let us come to interactive a whiteboard. Let us come to interactive whiteboard. This is where we are. Interactive whiteboard. It says it can be used for small or large groups as well. It can be used large group or even small group. So suitable for different audience sizes. Can be used during classroom lesson or even company meeting. That is that. Can be used in a brainstorming session to capture feedback and ideas. So it can be used in brainstorming. So ideas can be written and saved as people contribute. So, for example, team members suggesting marketing ideas while the presenter writes them on the board. That is that. It can be linked to other whiteboards in other venues. It can be linked to other whiteboards. So, meaning to say, as we are saying, can be linked to other whiteboards in other venues. It means people in different locations can work together. It can use coded pens to write new information and feedback. So it can use coded pens to write. So different colors help organize information. So video conferencing equipment. Video conferencing equipment. So it says it can be used for groups in different venues. So it means it allows meeting with people in a different places. So staff from different branches join one meeting online, while at least they are still in their respective places. It shows summaries and graphs, relationship diagrams, processes, and steps. So participants can view presentation slides together. That is in short what it says. It provides face-to-face contact even with international meetings. So participants can see and talk to each other in a real time. That is that a South African company can meet with someone or some clients in the UK. That is possible. It uses audio and video to connect people in different places as if they are in the same room. So it means it combines sound and video for live communication. So that is video conferencing. Now we come to flyers and broadcasts. Flyers and broadcasts. So flyers can be used as an effective marketing tool. Can be used as an effective marketing tool. Mean to say they promote products. We know flyers promote products, services, or events. So that is that. Can be used for attract people to an event. So it means their design encourages people to read more. That is that. A colorful flyer promoting a store opening. So that's what we mean. So let us move on. Now we come to posters now. We come to posters. Let's come to posters. So posters, signs, banners, as well as flags. This is where we are. So with posters, signs, banners, and flags, as they're saying, are used to communicate with potential customers. Are used to communicate with potential customers, meaning to say they provide information to attract customers. They can be used as a marketing strategy, meaning they help promote the business and its products. They summarize information and discussions to stakeholders, meaning to say they present important information briefly. It can be decorated to attract attention to information on it. So bright colors designs make them noticeable. So that is that. So now let us come to overhead projector. Overhead projector. As it says, it is used for large group, can be used for large group. So it means suitable when presenting to many people. A lecture hall presentation, that is that. You can use what? A projector. Uses transparencies. So information is printed on a transparent sheet. That is that the transparent showing a graph, for example. Needs a special screen mounted at an angle to wall. So it needs special screen mounted at an angle to wall. So a screen is needed to display the image clearly. Display charts. Display charts show summarizes graphs, relationships, diagrams, and process steps. So you're talking about what display charts, meaning to say show different types of visual information. It can sometimes be difficult to focus. So meaning to say the image may become blurry if not adjusted properly. So the presenter just adjusts the projector to sharpen the picture. That is that. So now let us be on charts or flip charts. Charts or flip charts. This is where we are. As it says, a flip chart is a board with paper attached at the top. and can be flipped over to present information sequentially. So that is that each page is turned over, a new information is presented. So like, for example, writing one idea per page during the workshop. Charts can be used for small group. Charts can be used for small. They work well where everyone can see them. So that is why we're saying they can be used in a small group. They are used to summarize discussions. So main points are written down. So that is that. Record ideas and feedback given by the group. So the presenter writes participant suggestions. Because we are saying record ideas and feedback given by the group. So, for example, recording brainstorming ideas, that is that. It does not need electricity and therefore cheaper visual aid. Does not need electricity. So it's very cheaper. So that is that. So they can be used anywhere without power. So using flip chart during load shedding is possible because they don't need electricity. Management may show organization structure in the form of organizational chart. So here we're talking about showing reporting relationships with the within the business. So that is that. So now let us come to graph. Let us come to graph. So now we are on graph. As it says, graph summarize the information and communicate trends and patterns. So meaning to say they make data easy to understand. A graph showing monthly sales growth, you see it? So they make that information to be very easy to understand. There are different types of graphs and each is suited to particular purpose. So that types of graph, different types of graph. So you choose the graph that best presents the information. Can use a pie chart for percentages. So now we are on types of charts. We have line graph used to show changes over time. So line graph shows changes over time, like monthly sales over 1 year. Bar graphs show change of something over time and show comparisons between different groups. So here, that is when you can compare sales of three products. Pie charts show something is divided into different parts. You're talking about pie charts. So pie charts, that is when you talk of percentage of the budget spent on each department. So that is that. Now we are under tables. We are under tables. Tables are useful. Tables are useful in summarizing and showing statistical information clearly. So it means that tables organizes figures into rows and columns for easy reading. So that is that. Tables present detailed information. So they include more data than graphs, the tables. So that is that. And this is the end of this presentation. Thank you very much for your time.